Listen up. If you're holding crypto or you're debating if you should make a move in this market, then you need to know about what's actually going on with the markets. And I'm not talking about just glancing at the price of Bitcoin to see if it's up or down today, because anyone can look that up and see that Bitcoin's struggling to hit a new record high. You need to look beyond this price chart and really understand the driving factors behind the crypto market. One major influencer is global liquidity. It's simple. If money supply isn't increasing, then there's no extra money for investors to spend in the market. According to several data sources that track global money supply, or M2, this number has been on the rise over the last little while. And we've already seen that when money supply goes up, Bitcoin's price also goes up, usually after a 2 to 3 month delay. What's more interesting is that if you look at the last few years, whenever the M2 chart went through a strong climb to a peak and cooled off a bit, Bitcoin's price continued to go up in the coming months. So there's a delay with both the start of Bitcoin's climbs and the end of these climbs to cool down. If you look at M2 right now, it's on a pretty strong uptrend that began in January. It's basically been pushing up non-stop for 6 months straight. A few months ago, Bitcoin started pushing up again after falling to 80K, and this confirms the 2 to 3 month delayed pattern. Both of these charts are now on a positive trend overall. But based on what we've seen so far this cycle, even if global liquidity cools off at some point, Bitcoin should remain in an uptrend for months after. So there's momentum here, which is why I wouldn't be surprised to see a new all-time high pretty soon. But this is just Bitcoin. What about altcoins? Well, you can compare Bitcoin's price movement to the altcoin market, represented here by this total 3 metric. This is just the total market cap of all altcoins minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if you look at the last 3 years alone, both lines have generally been moving in the same direction together. Each climb for Bitcoin lines up with a climb for the altcoin market. But everybody keeps talking about an altcoin season. Would that look any different? Well, let's go back and look at what happened in the years leading up to the 2021 bull run. Again, both lines moving generally in the same direction together. Up until this point right here, Bitcoin went from 10K to 16K over 3 months near the end of 2020. That's roughly a 60% move up. During the same time, Total 3 went up about 10%, which means altcoins were lagging behind a lot. Shortly after, Total 3 also pushed up faster. So there's a delay here, just like the delay between liquidity going up and Bitcoin's price increasing. Now here's the part that's exciting. There was a point when Bitcoin flew up to almost 30K, which was also a new record high. At this point, Total 3 was sitting near $130 billion. And from here, Bitcoin continued its climb to eventually hit almost 70K, roughly doubling its market cap. But look at what happened to the altcoin market during this time. The total market cap went from $130 billion to almost $1.1 trillion. That's about an 8-fold increase. It's almost like the altcoins were supercharging during Bitcoin's final big push. And this also happens to be the point when Bitcoin dominance began to fall rapidly, which shouldn't be surprising because this explains the rotation into altcoins. So are we due for an altcoin season? Well, based on the data, we have yet to see a true alt season. And if that's the case, how do we prepare ourselves right now? Well, this is something I'm going to discuss in today's video. Because the truth is that even though the altcoin market jumped up 8x in the last bull run, this should be seen as more of an average number. There were definitely several coins that flew up way higher during the 2021 alt season, and more likely than not, they were assets tied to real and innovative tech in the crypto space. So I'll be discussing one of my favorite projects this cycle, sharing some critical updates, and talking about why I believe this one has a bright future. So stay tuned. But first, one thing for all you crypto traders out there, I often get asked about my favorite exchange to use, and the truth is, I don't have one. There are too many hacks and downtimes to just rely on a single platform. Even big platforms like Coinbase have had major outages. That's why I use over 10 exchanges, and one of my main trading platforms is WEEX. They offer some of the lowest fees on trading, and getting started is as easy as signing up with an email. You can follow the link in the description to learn more. And if you want to get all the latest alpha in the crypto space and chat with a team that's tracking the markets daily, then check out the FireHustle VIP Discord. The link is also in the description below. And please remember that none of what I share is financial advice. This is meant for educational purposes only. Now hit those like and subscribe buttons, turn on post notifications, and let's get started. So I have to admit, I do check the Bitcoin chart every day. In fact, I have it open all day long while I work and refer back to it constantly. It's a great way to get an idea of where the crypto market is heading alongside some of the tools and metrics that I mentioned already. But at the back of my mind, I know that Bitcoin is not the main event, even though a lot of people will believe this. Bitcoin's movements now are setting the stage for altcoins to shine. And when alt season kicks in, we're going to see a lot of action in the altcoin market. But there are so many altcoins and crypto projects out there, and not everything will go through the same price trends. So which ones will perform the best? Well, a better question to ask is, what makes a project good? Real tech, innovative ideas, a dev team that's always building and progressing, and a solid community behind the project. These are the ingredients that make up a promising project. Now, I've got a few of these on my watch list, but one that has caught a lot of attention over the last few years and rose up the ranks quickly this cycle is Kaspa. Now, you can see from the Kaspa price chart that this one hit a peak at almost 21 cents about a year ago. From this point, the chart entered a downtrend, and we've seen a few bounces to push the price back up, but this wasn't enough to reach its all-time high. Now looking closer on the daily chart for Kaspa, it managed to bounce off of the support zone near 6 cents about a week ago. The MACD indicator also crossed over the orange signal line here to indicate an uptrend. The problem is that the MACD line is still below zero, which means Kaspa is still overall in a downtrend. But look here, while the price in June has been on a downtrend overall, the MACD histogram has been trending up in the opposite direction. This is an example of histogram divergence, and it's often used as an indicator for a price trend reversal incoming. These green histogram bars building up further confirm this, and with enough momentum, we could see Kaspa back in a higher trading range soon. Now, while these price chart indicators help us understand shorter term trends and patterns, the Kaspa team is here to play the long game. They're building an ecosystem that's capable of handling all kinds of use cases. One of their biggest achievements so far to help them reach this goal was the Crescendo network upgrade. This brought up their network speed from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second. And based on the network metrics, this is estimated to be about 25,000 to 50,000 transactions per second at a maximum load. Not only is this pretty competitive in all of crypto, but this is unheard of for a proof of work network. But if you look at the actual live stats, the transaction count is nowhere near these numbers right now. And this is just a reflection of Kaspa's level of adoption and usage so far. The team wants to eventually push the network up to 100 blocks per second. The big question is, why? For the longest time, Kaspa was only good for sending and receiving transactions. But the team's vision for the project is to support an entire ecosystem of applications and products. This includes real-world services as well, like RWA tokenization, cross-border payments, supply chain, and even healthcare. The Kaspa Key initiative was actually created for this purpose, to find ways to push Kaspa's tech into different major sectors. But Kaspa, as it is right now, isn't able to compete with the likes of Ethereum. And that's because it's missing a layer 2 ecosystem. dApps and smart contracts are what took Ethereum to the level that it is at right now. It's what created the massive user base behind the project over the last decade. Now, we know that the Kaspa team is working hard to bring us smart contracts very, very soon, and the core devs have been feeding us updates slowly. I do think that we're going to need to wait a bit to see this come to life. Adding an entire layer 2 ecosystem to a project isn't a simple feat. We'll likely see a beta version of smart contracts on the testnet, and then tons of improvements being made before the final functional product comes to life. But this is going to open up the doors to many other opportunities, including the DeFi space. At the end of the day, when you're looking at a project, you need to assess what it can actually do as of now. We just saw the big network speed boost spring into action, and that went pretty smoothly. But we'll need to see how things go once smart contracts come into the picture. With any new tech in Web3, I would expect challenges and roadblocks to pop up. and it's going to be super important for the team to keep us updated on all of their progress. Thankfully, this is a team that's been super transparent so far, so I don't doubt that we will know exactly when they're ready to roll out their layer 2 products. One of the core devs, Michael Sutton, has also hinted at an updated roadmap post coming soon on X, so this might give us a clue about what to expect in the near future. And I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for more updates from both the team and all of the Kaspa related socials. Also, what are some of your favorite projects building in the space right now? Leave a comment below because I'd love to know what my audience has their eyes on. And one more thing, just because I'm talking about a project doesn't mean you should blindly invest all of your money into it. None of what I talk about is financial advice. Please make sure to always do your own research and understand what you're getting into before making any investment decisions. That way, you're well informed of the opportunities and risks. If you're interested in learning more about projects I'm watching closely, then come and join me in the FireHustle Discord. You can find the link in the description below. And if you want more videos like this, then please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.